Welcome, everyone, and Happy New Year. We are officially in 2023. Before we get into the forecast for January, I just want to mention, of course, that this is a general forecast. If you would like a personal reading, or if you would like your own personal year ahead forecast, book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this. Here we go. So a new year, a new energy to work with. We leave the energy of the 6 behind in 2022, and we jump into the very practical and very ethereal landscape of the 7 energy for the universal cycle of 2023. So if you haven't already, again, be sure to listen to your previously posted 2023 year ahead forecast for your specific life path number. Those are up on my YouTube channel and my podcast for your listening pleasure. Okay, so in this episode, we're going to first look at the collective energy for January 2023, which will sort of explore the cycle that we'll all be working with for this month. And then we'll take a look at the month ahead, including the energies for the new and the full moons of January for each life path number. Okay, so January 2023 is an 8 universal cycle. And so what this means is collectively we will be feeling much more focused, much more determined, and more motivated this month. So we're ready to make big strides on some of our greatest visions, and we can feel the excitement growing around creative projects and collaborations that sort of fuel our passions. This energy is saying, let's go. Under this energy, it's important to not see limitations as indicators that something is not achievable or that it isn't for you. We're meant to acknowledge those limitations and then call in the people and the resources that are the experts within those areas to assist, while we focus our own energy on the areas where we are the experts and where we can let our light shine the brightest. 8 energy understands the importance of collaboration and teamwork. It doesn't try to do it all alone, and it certainly understands that it isn't the expert at everything. The goal is to focus on and emphasize our own strengths while also allowing others to contribute in the same way. When we try to be the best at everything and fail to see our own limitations as an opportunity to allow someone else's strengths to shine through, then we restrict ourselves and, in turn, restrict others. So this is a great month to ask for assistance and to accept that assistance without trying to control it, right? So the month of January may start off a little slow, but by mid-month, the energy will be pushing us to get started on whatever it is that we set our sights on. Money and financial affairs could also come up this month, and you could see sort of an influx of resources, perhaps an uptick in clients or sales. Or if you've applied for, a new job or a promotion, you could see that come through at this time. New contracts could be initiated at this time as well. So if you're a freelancer or again, like work with clients, you may see an uptick there. Or for some, unexpected costs could surface at this time to have you to take a closer look at your spending and or your money management. This is a great energy when it comes to career or how you sort of make your money or your resources in the world. So if you're looking for work or if you're looking to change jobs, this is a very supportive energy to help you not only get your foot in the door, but bust through that door and get seen. So again, this is great energy for getting your name out there, putting yourself out there, getting seen, being recognized, getting those promotions, getting more clients, getting more sales, all of those things. This is very ambitious energy that we're working with, right? Or we have the opportunity to work with. Don't be afraid of taking risks this month, especially mid-month and onwards. Don't be afraid to promote yourself. And again, get your name out there, get yourself out there. Don't be afraid to be seen in whatever ways feel aligned for you. Not necessarily what feels comfortable for you, because sometimes we do have to step outside that comfort zone, right? But in ways that feel aligned. So it feels good, even though it might be a little scary, or it might be, again, different from how you're used to doing it. That is the power of the 8. It's going to sort of push us beyond our again, beyond those comfort zones. And that can include, again, like asking for assistance, asking for where you need help, where it is that you have those limitations. There is power in that, and the 8 energy is going to assist us in doing that. The energy of the 8 reminds us that if we don't speak up and ask for what we want, then the answer is always going to be no. So be confident and bold and go for it. This vibration will also ask us to sort of proceed with honesty and integrity. Shady business isn't supported under this vibration, and using others to get ahead now might work initially, but the fall will be greater than the rise. So anything done without integrity, especially under the vibration of the 8, is not sustainable and will eventually crumble. So it's best to build from a foundation of honesty and integrity to begin with. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the month of January for your specific life path number now. A life path number 1. So I pulled an animal spirit message for you for this, the first month of 2023, and you got praying mantis energy. And so there is something here coming in around potentially being redirected in some way, not necessarily where you're completely changing everything that you've done into a new direction, but there may be some shifts that come in for you that feel like a detour or a redirect, and you might not have all of the information as to why you're being redirected, but just try to trust this energy and move with it to the best of your ability and see where it takes you, because there is definitely something here about sort of like being guided from the unseen to sort of get on track with where your soul wants you to be type thing, as opposed to where the ego wants to be. So there is something from the higher realms coming through here, which makes sense, and I'll talk to you about that in just a moment, with the energies that you all are working with for January. But there's definitely something here about like a redirection from your higher consciousness, from, again, like your soul, the direction that your soul wants to move into, that is going to override, again, the direction that your ego wants to be moving into. So just pay attention. You can't miss it. It's going to come in for those of you that this is relevant. So just pay attention and try to move with it as gently and as open-mindedly as possible. There's also something coming in here about boundaries and vocalization. So being very vocal about what you need to thrive, what you need to be successful, all of those things, especially as a 1. 1 energy is very like self-directed. It's very much about like, again, like being the leader and stepping into that role, not only leading alongside of others, but being the leader within your own life. And so there may be some situations this month that surface or that become sort of reach a boiling point or a culmination where, again, you need to be very vocal and state and ask for what it is that you need, right? But in a way that, where you're being firm about it. So you're not asking for people to respect these boundaries. You're putting forth the boundaries and holding those boundaries, and those that want to respect it can come along for the ride. Those that cannot, or for whatever reason don't want to respect your boundaries, that's their call, but you can sort of demote them in a way, right? Like they don't need to be such a big part of your experience if they can't respect the boundaries that you need to put in place. So there's definitely something here about being very vocal about what you need, and very like vocal about what your desires are and what it is that you're moving towards and who's on board, and also very vocal again about like your own limitations and where you need assistance, and speaking up for that and asking for that help, which can be difficult for anybody, but I think it's also very challenging for ones at times. So this could be a month where, again, you really need to speak up for what it is that you want, go after it, and set those healthy boundaries along the way. Now, January for you all, now again, you will of course be working with the energies of the 8, as we all will for January, but you all are also working with an undercurrent energy of the 9. So again, this is like when we talked about like that like change of direction, or like your higher self sort of stepping in and taking the wheel type thing. This 9 energy that you all are working with in January is very much aligned with that. So you could see some very strong intuitive hits come in, some dreams come through that hold some very strong messages for you. Just think about like any time where, especially if you're somebody who doesn't feel necessarily connected intuitively or psychically or whatever the case may be, which is fine, but it's for you all, you may see your dreams be very vivid this month. You may see your messages come through in that way, or you may hear something on the radio or on TV or something like that that really like stands out, and you're like, wow, that feels like it's like a message directed to me. Because a lot of times, you know, our higher self will try to come through, or our spirit guides will try to come through when the ego is sort of not on guard. So, or not overly active. And so again, especially dream time is big for this, or your daydream. So pay attention to what comes through for you at those times when, again, your ego is not on alert, because those are going to potentially hold something very significant for you. And I would say write them down, because it might not make sense, like what it's for until later. So definitely write down those things that hold like a very strong charge for you, or feel like there's something more to it. There may be, there may not be, but at least write it down so that you can revisit it. Also, with this 9 energy, there may be some things coming to completion this month. Now, for you all, it's interesting. This could be a little bit of push-pull energy, because we have the universal cycle of the 8 that we're all working with, which is very like ambitious, go-getter. It's like, you know, like blazing that trail, like having the vision and starting the process and going after it, right? But then you all are working with a 9 energy, which is very much more feminine energy. It's more receptive. It's more sort of sitting back. You've already created the web, and now you're allowing things to come to you. There's things coming to completion. There's things falling out of the way so that new things can come in at this time. So it's not necessarily a particularly strong action-oriented month for you all. But this is a great month for planning. So those ideas could come rolling in a big way now. You've got the strong sort of ambitious energy of the 8 that you're working with collectively. So you could have those big goals come in, those big visions, those big ideas through the channels of the 9 as well, right? So this could be an interesting month for you all, where you might feel like you're getting like overloaded or bombarded with all these big ideas, and you may feel a little bit like overwhelmed by how you're supposed to make all this happen. And I would say that your first step would be to write it down so that you know what you're working with. And then you can start to create the vision, right? Start to create that vision board, start to plan this month. Because you've got to figure out like your center of working with the 9 energy and the 8 energy, because again, one is very masculine, very action oriented, go-getter energy, and the other is very receptive and very still and very much like intuitive and spiritually connected, which is the 9, right? So find your balance of working with these energies, and don't try to push too hard. Don't try to do too much. Don't spread yourself too thin this month. But also stay alert and stay aware of what's coming in for you, because it's sort of setting you up for the next 12 months, right? For 2023. So this potentially has, again, the potential to be a very important month for you all. So pay attention again to what comes in. This is also, this 9 energy is sort of steering you in a way that sort of takes the focus off from self a little bit, where again, with 1 energy, it's just more innate to be sort of self-driven and sort of focused on self and, ambitious in that way, right? To be that trailblazer. But the 9 energy is sort of shifting the focus on how you can, not necessarily shifting it, but helping you to incorporate and integrate how you can use that self-driven energy to create something or do something or contribute in some way that has a higher purpose, that helps the all, right? That takes the all into consideration, that takes community into consideration. 9 being the energy of the humanitarian. So you are working with that energy this month. So you may see things come in, like solutions come in, ideas come in, that again is helping you to see the bigger picture, to not be so focused on what you can get out of the situation, but how it will benefit more than just self, right? So it's sort of like integrating the all with the I type thing. So this is, like I said, this has the potential to be a very big month for you all, in not only again in like the planning and the big ideas coming through, but integrating that and figuring out how to work with it and planning and deciding what sort of direction you want to move into, which I think is also interesting that you got praying mantis, which is like redirection, because again, I think it's going to be really important for you all to stay open to the direction that your soul sort of moves you into this month, through these messages coming through like opportunities that surface, through opportunities for collaboration, however it comes in for you. But just be open to it, because it could be very different from what you're used to or what you're comfortable with, right? Then on, let's see, the 6th of January, we have a full moon in Cancer that's coming through. This is interesting because you all are very much working with the energy of the 6 for this full moon, which is very Cancerian. So a lot potentially coming in around the home. But again, this is very like sensitive energy. This is very like deep, connected, emotive energy. So pay attention to what sort of gets triggered for you emotionally, because there could be something more to that. So not just triggered like in like you get angry or you get sad, but also like what triggers like that emotional charge when it comes to like your passions and what drives you and what excites you. That could come in as well. There could be shifts here from something to do with the home, as far as like working from the home, or if you used to work from the home, you may move out of the home and start working from an office or something like that, or getting more involved in the community in some way. I could definitely see that for ones with all of these like very much like more community driven, more sort of spiritually driven energies of the 6, the 9. But then we've got the 8, which incorporates again like career, business type thing. So a lot here. It could also be that for some of you, you're starting a family, or you're, or, you know, you have a child being born or something like that, or you have to make adjustments because your child or children are leaving the home and going to college, or starting their own lives or whatever, right? So that's always possible as well. But there could be some things that come in around this full moon that have to do with the home. Now, it is a full moon, so it's culmination. You're also working with the 9 energy this month, which can sort of attribute to some kind of something coming to completion or culmination. So there could be something that you've been working on in the home that now comes to completion. So maybe you've been remodeling or doing some kind of projects around the house that now feels done, right? That feels good. You feel good about it. It feels completed. And you can tie up those loose ends, right? So, and if there's something that you've been sort of struggling with in the home, some kind of dynamic or some actual like physical thing that you've been struggling with, and that can also include health or health of a loved one or something like that, or finances of a loved one. You could see that come to some kind of solution coming to you at this time around this full moon. So pay attention to that. Then we've got the new moon, which is happening in Aquarius on the 21st of January. So this, you all are working with the energy of the 3 around this new moon. And so again, I would say there's something here around how you communicate, and that may need to change, and you might need to be more sort of cognizant and aware of your communication to others and how you receive that communication from others. And can you shift it in a way so that you're not only more receptive to what people are saying, but how you are communicating is landing in a way that is more easily received, right? And so just to make sure that things are not being lost in translation, right? Whether it's what's coming in for you or going out of you. And so there is definitely something here around like communication and communicating with a larger group of people. And just making sure that, you can't at any time sort of dictate or control how others receive your message. But you can always ask those clarifying questions, always make sure that, have them repeat it to you to make sure that what they've received or what they're digesting is what you intended for them to receive and digest. So just pay attention to your communication styles and sort of, again, how you're getting your message across. Does it feel good for you? Does it feel aligned with the message that you're trying to get out there? You may also see things open up for you. Again, it's a new moon, so this could be a new way of communicating, a new way of getting yourself out there, of putting yourself out there, of being seen. It's also a very social energy, so again, you may start a different type of community-driven project. You may start something like a podcast or a YouTube channel, or start doing workshops within the community, something like that. There's a potential for you, again, to sort of be seen on a grander scale, but in order to do that, you have to put yourself out there. So very possible for, again, like new ideas, new inspirations, new opportunities to come through for you at this time around the new moon to again, just become a part of the community in a bigger way, and in a way that, again, is helping to get your message, your gift, your project, whatever, out into the community where it can be received on a bigger scale, which is very aligned with Aquarius energy as well. So very, very possible. How you connect with others, how you network, how you collaborate, how you communicate can all be coming into the mix, especially around this new moon on the 21st of January. So beautiful energies that you all are working with here. I would say definitely be aware of any kind of redirection that comes in for you all. Be open to it. Sometimes ones can be very stubborn, sort of very like fixated on what it is they want to accomplish and how they're going to accomplish it. And so I would just say this month, just be open to doing things a little bit differently, doing things in a new way, asking for the assistance that you need, being open to receiving that assistance without trying to control it. And I think that you can see that you make a tremendous amount of headway this month. And again, it's sort of setting you up for the next 12 months. So this is incredibly powerful, beautiful energy. And I think this month is going to be sort of pay attention to what comes in, right? Because again, I think this is going to be a good indicator for you of like what the next 12 months will hold and what you're sort of building upon. So I hope it is a beautiful start to 2023 for you all. Thank you so much for being here. Take care, ones. Bye for now.